Welcome to John Eats Cheap. Sundays are for good, big breakfast that maybe you don't have time to make during the week. Well, I had some sausage that I cooked for my breakfast for later in the week. Easy to reheat in the morning. I have a few leftover baked potatoes. I got some eggs and cheese. That sounds to me like a homemade hash brown omelet. So the hash brown omelet is something I first made in home ec class in high school. I was really proud of it. It was really, really good. You can use frozen hash browns or rehydrate the boxed ones, but we had baked potatoes this week, and so I like to get the potatoes and bake them all. The leftovers you can use for hash browns, for chunked potatoes, home fries as they call them. When I worked at a restaurant, we used to always make hash browns as a side dish. You know, that was one of the side choices out of the leftover baked potatoes. After the baked potatoes were gone, then we went to the boxed kind. And then people quit ordering hash browns. They are that much better. So I'm going to use the baked potatoes. These have been in the fridge since yesterday or maybe a couple of days. So I'm going to just slice these open and shred them. You want them refrigerated because then they're good and cold and firm. Just take a little bit of the skin off. Now if I'm chunking these up, a lot of times I'll leave some of the skin on. But they freeze very well if you have them chunked. So now we are just going to shred these. I'm just making a little bit, so I'm just going to shred it with the hand shredder here. And hopefully keep all the skin on my fingers. I really don't like these shredders. There's a little bit. I may only need to shred a couple of these because I'm just going to make a small batch, a small fry pan of hash brown omelet, which is just an omelet and hash browns combined. And then toppings, I've got my sausage. I'll dice that up, add a little cheese. So the leftover skin there kind of saves me a little bit as I'm shredding, so I don't shred my fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still got them all, and I only have half a potato to go. That's almost enough hash browns. This was a really odd-shaped tater, too. Shred, 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 shred. You can shred up a little onion in here if you want. Of course, you don't have to shred everything. You can chunk it too. I think that's going to be enough for my pan. There's our freshly shredded hash browns. Ooh, made a mess. Got rid of the skin. By the way, you throw the skin away. Don't put it in the garbage disposal, especially if you're doing fresh, if you're peeling fresh potatoes, because the garbage disposal, it'll still clog it up. So I'm just going to take these cooked sausages and dice them up a little bit. These are I get these sausages at Sam's Club. Thanks to my friend Sherry in Ohio. We had these at Sherry's house one time, and she said, yeah, they're Schweigerties or Schweigers or something like that. Anyway, they were really good, and I'd never even heard of them before. But now that's the kind we like the best. There's hardly any fat in it. Okay, so there's our sausage, our hash browns. Let's go to the stove and get started. Got the small pan. We're going to do 2 to 3 tablespoons of butter. Need a lot for those potatoes. And yes, real butter. None of that fake margarine, oil, low, everything stuff. The pan's ready, butter is melted, so now we're going to add our freshly shredded hash browns. And you can put more in than it looks like because they will compact when they cook, so I'm just going to put it all in there. Right? Go big or go home. Try and spread it out a little evenly. I've just got these on medium heat. We'll season them up a little bit. I love seasoned salt. And a little bit of freshly ground pepper. Let's get the eggs ready. We're just making a small hash brown omelet, so we will just do 3 eggs. One. Two. This is what's great about this is when you're making an omelet, it's okay if you break the yolk. So of course this time I get 3 perfect eggs, no broken yolk. That hardly ever happens. But now we break them up and just whip these eggs up. You can use a fork, but I like them really mixed very well, so I use a whisk. All right, eggs are ready. Right, we're about 10 minutes into the browning process. Right now they're ready to flip. They're loosened up. I'm going to use a flip trick here. This plate, I hope this works. I've never done this on demand on camera before. This is just to get it all flipped. And look at that. Of course, that's only one side. We need to put a little more butter in the pan. Just let that melt. And in goes the omelet. I'm sorry, the hash browns. Hash browns ready for our whipped up eggs, scrambled eggs. I like to use a spatula to get all the egg, because look at all that egg that's still in there that you wouldn't get if you just poured. Egg is in. We're going to turn our heat down just a little bit. You know what? I remembered we had some diced bacon that I cooked a few days ago for some. When we had our baked potatoes, we did loaded baked potatoes. So I'm going to do the diced bacon. Diced ham is real good in a hash brown omelet. Now we'll get our sausage. Just try and get it in there as evenly as possible. This is going to be good and meaty. And hash brownie. And finally our shredded cheddar. Cover it up. This would be the sharp cheddar cheese. A little bit more. I mean, an omelet should be cheesy, right? Now we're going to cover that and let it cook. Hash brown omelet, I think she's done. Let's check. Try and get that lid off quick so you don't get any of that water in there. I think she's ready to go. That's a lot of cheese in there. I'm going to top that with, I mentioned we had the bacon left over from loaded baked potatoes. You know what else we had left over? Some green onion. Oh, put a few of those on top as well. There we go. Let's go to the table. All right, I think it's been sitting long enough. Really cut this into quarters. And this reheats well. It's good leftovers too. Eat it for a few days. I got a lot of cheese on there. There we go. Hash brown omelet. And this really, really retains heat. So it's one of those where you're going to burn the roof of your mouth. So I gotta be careful here. Burning. Great, hearty, filling breakfast with potatoes, meat, cheese, eggs. What more do you want on a weekend? Hash brown omelet with John Eats Cheap.